Oh, look at that. Yo.
What happened?
Oh, it is another edition of the High Hopes Podcast. I wanted to match the boringness that has been happening with the Philadelphia Phillies. Jack Fritz. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Why are you talking to me like a pet?
I don't know, because you were just having all kinds of chair issues. You were going up and down. You had to get to
Because I
your
can't
spot.
find the right
You
angle.
made me look at you kind of like a child.
Don't ever say that again. No, I just...
You were really low down. It felt like it was like, wow, you're so tiny for a
Yeah, I
second.
know.
You're
Well-
always bigger than me. For a moment, you weren't.
Well, again, it is plaid season, so that has helped.
It's looking good. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
No, I know.
A plaid dad. That's what you are.
I think it's because of the snow. Like the snow and the wanting to just be around a fire all day.
Mhm.
And, Camp, which is a great band that I need you to check out.
Yeah, I got to check out
It's-
Camp.
it-
I mean,
it's-
I'll check it out.
It's
I'll check it
it's a very wintry day, and no, the Jock Peterson fake rumors yesterday were not enough to really get my fire burning.
Yeah.
But I am curious as we kick off this podcast. Which are you?
Hey, everybody.
Which are you more? I can't tell which one of us is more happy. Me not having to listen to you talk about the Eagles, or you not having to listen to me talk about the Eagles. Like I'm so happy that for the next hour or how long that we have to do this podcast, that I don't have to think about the football
Yeah,
team.
I know. Me too.
I
buddy.
just
It's a real nice.
I need
nice break,
I
man.
need something else. Like the
Yeah.
Jock Peterson rumor was the first time I've really felt something.
Yeah,
in a
and
while.
it turns out the Jock Peterson rumor might have been about the Eagles.
It really might have been.
He's
No,
from San Francisco. Like
Yeah.
that. At least I don't know what. Unless
So is he
gets
from
signed,
San Francisco? Or is he doing-
apparently,
Okay.
that's what I heard. So it's maybe him being like, "I'm a Niners fan." Ha ha.
Ah, well,
Thanks, Jock.
yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome. We will rescind any bad things we say about Jock Peterson if he signs. Obviously, if he signs,
He's our guy.
love him
For sure.
I mean, he's a winner. All he
Yeah.
does is win. Right now,
He
like,
is from Palo Alto,
Thanks
so
a
yeah,
lot,
he's
Joe.
probably a Niners.
yeah,
fan.
I think it was a Niners thing.
Yeah.
But
No,
like
it's probably a Niners thing.
I know.
Which, like, in the middle of free agency and winter meetings,
Not
and
cool,
like,
man.
it's just like, well, guess what? Dead to me until they sign him. And then it's like he's just being funny guy.
Yeah, then it's like, whoa, that was hilarious. Good
Yeah,
move.
he gets it. He gets it.
Great
terrible.
clubhouse guy. He's gonna come in and be great.
A terrible fantasy football commissioner.
Yeah, well, apparently, I hope he doesn't get slapped here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look out for slap issues or slap. What's the word I'm looking for?
Slap bets?
Slap gate.
Slap
I
gate,
should
yes.
have known you'd go slap at How I Met Your Mother. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. You just got slapped across the face, my
Across the face,
friend.
my friend.
Yes.
That
What
was-
a first 4 seasons, fantastic.
First two. Were
Last
really, really
7, awful.
That's
But,
that's
but at the peak of How I Met Your Mother is one of the best sitcoms of all time.
I like it. It's a good take. All right, let's get in. I mean,
Do we?
what are we going to talk about? I got stuff, but seriously, like, just take me in, because I know that I can get frustrated with what the Phillies are doing
Yeah.
and non-action stuff.
Yep.
For me, though, it's like I'll get frustrated and then I'll go back to my life. You will sit there and stew and pine and then put out tweets where everyone's like, Jack, are you okay? Dude, my new target list for the Phillies, I went Harrison freaking Bader. We went from Mike Trout to Harrison freaking Bader. Man, are you okay? That's where I want to start the pod. Are you okay?
So, in my spare time, I have just been watching random relief pitcher highlights. So you can be the judge of that if you would like to be.
So strong no.
No, like, I
hearty
just-
no, I am not okay.
No, because like honestly, I'm the bits aside, I'm so busy that like I haven't like I need a move to like
Get the juices
to
going.
get it going.
So it's
again.
almost to the point where you're checked out.
Yeah, I just have nothing.
That's tough.
What am I supposed to do? Every single freaking article that comes out is like, I don't think we're gonna really do anything.
It's
So
like, not really interested in anything. Maybe
Dude,
we'll pick some guys up at that before the season starts.
yeah, it's like just wait till spring training. Maybe then we'll make a move.
Basically, if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't.
I mean, like it seems as if it feels like the contracts on the team are obviously hampering their ability to go and get something done. You know, they're like I think they would like to get out from under Taijuan Walker, but how good of a prospect do you want to attach to Taijuan Walker to get him out of here? And then the other
Because then
thing,
you're spending money on Taijuan. You have to either
Yes.
attach a good, or you're spending money and then you're spending more money to replace him and the whole thing.
Yeah. So and apparently like Manga is going to get $100 million now. You know, and I think
like Yamamoto, they're saying
Yamamoto's getting $300 million.
Like, I mean, that's the thing. At least we could say it. When it's all said and done, if the market, look, sometimes we'll hear these numbers and the market does not play out the way, reporters put stuff out there for agents and all that stuff. But if it does play out this way, the one thing we can say is it might have been a bargain they got Aaron Nola for. Yeah.
Like if Yamamoto signs for $275 to $300,
it's like, wow. And
okay, that's why they re-signed Aaron Nola.
But that's exactly.
Yeah, like, and I love
and
Yamamoto.
And also, I was driving in this morning and I heard like they listed the teams that are in on Yamamoto, and it's like, oh, so everyone is in on Yamamoto. It was like every big market team is in on Yamamoto. The Dodgers, the Giants, the Cubs, the Yankees, the Mets, like everyone is in on the guy.
Yeah, and for
rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
He's really, really good.
And he's really young.
But it's just like it's such a huge financial commitment, and I just think the Phillies are kind of stuck roster wise. And I know like I'm of the mindset of I think running it back is a mistake because I just don't think the buzz is really going to be there. But I also don't know what they're supposed to do. You know, it's one of those things where it's like I would love to be mad about something, or I'd love to be fired up and like start a campaign and do all that stuff, but I don't know what the move is. I don't know what the move is because, like, again, do you want to still be paying Taiwan, and then do you also want to attach a prospect, and then have to go pay someone else? Sure. Like, I would have loved the Eduardo Rodriguez deal.
That was a really good contract.
4 years, $80 million.
Really good deal.
You know, Castellanos.
Diamondbacks, of course. Like, great.
Our guys.
Our new nemesis. Yeah.
No, they really are. Like they.
I hate them.
Yeah.
I actually hate them. Like there's honestly,
Cowboys or Diamondbacks.
I don't honestly remember it turning quicker. Like,
well, it's the Bucks game. I mean, no one felt anything about the Tampa Bay Bucks until
you're right. They were like our little, never went under 30 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's like I hate them.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a great point.
Until they helped the Eagles in 08.
Yeah, but I hate the Michael. Well, they helped by losing. You're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Michael Bush helped us out. The Raiders helped us out.
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, that's right.
The
highlight of his career.
Known winner, Jamarcus Russell.
But like that's how I feel about Diamondbacks. Like it really went from whatever to I hate them.
Yeah.
Like I like they're right there with the Mets and Braves for me right now in this moment. Like obviously historically and all that stuff. Like the Braves are still the worst. I still hate the Braves the most right now.
Yeah.
But the Diamondbacks are like third on that list now. Yeah. Like I hate them more than the Nationals. Don't you?
You go very
the
quick.
Marlins. I hate them more than I hate the Marlins now.
No.
Oh, I do.
Well,
I hate the Diamondbacks more.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I do hate the Marlins though.
Of course, but it's like
So I guess
it's annoying hate.
And I guess my thing is, I think they're stuck. But at the same time, you know, they can make these. Like if you upgrade some of the bullpen roles, and you do get a better like platoon bat for the outfield, like they are a good team. I think that's the one thing that's being lost in the whole freak out about them not doing anything. Like. That was a 90-win team that also missed Bryce for a little bit of the year. It took a while.
Trey Turner sucked the first half of this. They should have been better. They were better than from what June 1st on, similar year before, they were a 100-win team.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, on paper they're a 95-win ball club without really making any improvements. And they won 90 last year, and they weren't even playing that good for a majority of the year. So, like I on one hand. I'm bummed because I love the offseason and I love trying to think of what's the trade. I love, what's the free agent signing. But, like, we've also been spoiled the last couple of years of, okay, they're going to go after one of the shortstops. They're going to add a big bat in free agency, whether it's Schwarber, and then we were surprised by the Castellanos thing. You had the Bryce pursuit. Like
John has spent a lot. Jack Middleton has spent a lot of money.
It's been a pretty good run for offseason discussion. And the roster kind of is the roster. And I think if they could have gotten out from Nick Castellanos and someone wanted him, then they would have. But, like you are losing a 25 home run guy. He can be frustrating when he chases and stuff like that.
It was important in the clubhouse. Like I think that matters. Course. We can't talk so much about how important that clubhouse culture thing is to this team and how they function, and then just totally ignore that when we're talking about Castellanos.
100%. So, it's been really boring. I still would like to see some kind of cool trade, but on one hand, I do get it. I think it's lame, but I also I can't want a smart, well-run baseball team and then complain because they don't do stuff for us.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I mean? You're saying exactly how I feel. I think you nailed it like perfectly in that it sucks. It's disappointing. And I do, like, there is a part of me that I do go back, I do still believe and go back to what I said in the perfect offseason where it's and we've talked about this, like, you're in a window right now. Like, you do everything you can to win a World Series now. Over the next 4 years, you do whatever it takes to win a World Series. But to your point, I understand, like, you still have to be smart about things. You're not going to overpay just to overpay. You're not going to overpay just to fill a need. I do think the trades are the thing that we should be hoping for, because I am fine trading prospects. I said that before. Like, Mick Abel, love you, buddy. I'd be fine trading you. Griff McGarry, love you, buddy. I'd be fine trading. Like, I'm willing to move on from Justin Crawford. Like, I'm willing to upgrade this team, and I do think that can happen as the season goes on and all that. But it's just, I think you're right. And I think, look, so many times we're like, oh, they won the offseason, and then it doesn't translate to wins during the regular season. Mm-hmm. So I think the Phillies can still be really good. I think they could win the World Series off an offseason like that. That's all still there. It's just frustrating when we go back to what John Middleton said, the whole, like, what did the 1927 Yankees cost? What did this cost? What did that cost? Whatever. Like Steve Cohen's got a higher payroll than us. And I know he's Steve Cohen, but he's in Yamamoto. He's going to go out and spend more money. And I'm not.
How is their payroll still so high, by the way?
It's unbelievable.
I mean,
they got nothing.
Like, they got rid of, like, all their talent last year. And again, I'm not. I think you're right, and we can't complain about the money spent. They went out and spent money. They still have the third highest payroll in baseball?
Third or fourth. They're in that range. Yeah. So it's like you can't complain about that, but at the same time, it's also like,
well, it's a sense of urgency.
Take advantage of the window. It's exactly right. It's a sense of urgency.
But they are. I mean, because what you're really doing is who's the Castellanos upgrade out there that you want them to go get? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no,
if it's Mike Trout, they could have beat the Juan Soto deal if they wanted to, and now it probably would have been like, I'm trying to think, is it fair to say? No, I think he's better. It's almost like it would have been Ranger and Michael King. Michael King's
better, but yeah, I mean, I think Michael King's a better prospect.
Yeah.
I think Michael King is more valued. You're right. Rangers pitch in the playoffs, and that's success. But I would say Michael King is more valuable in a trade, don't you?
Maybe,
a little bit,
maybe. But Ranger too. I know.
Michael King was pretty nasty at the end of last year.
He's a pitching ninja favorite. Yeah. But like, all right. So
either way,
it would have been like Ranger, Abel, and Rojas probably as
more
as the cornerstones of a deal.
Yeah, as a cornerstone.
And they could have beat it if they really, really wanted to. So I guess like that's the move that people. But at the same time, like we argued about this, which was funny.
Doesn't happen that often.
But like trading for Juan Soto, when you have a pretty good inclination he's gonna hit free agency for only a year, how smart a business is that? I mean, the Yankees do it because they are desperate. Their fans are like, I've never seen Yankees like basically. The worst thing that ever happened to Yankees fans was George Steinbrenner, because every single offseason you have to be George.
I know.
You have to like it's the toughest thing for the Yankees that George Steinbrenner existed. So like there's always that you got to get the star, you got to get the star, you got to get the star, or else the fans aren't very happy. And the Phillies, like, do you really want to go kind of shed down some of your talent to go get Juan Soto for a year when he's going to hit free agency? Like the Yankees now have made it like, we got to sign him or else we gave up all this for essentially nothing. And they didn't even really give up that much.
The Yankees had to do it more than the Phillies did.
Yes.
It's just what it is. They had the need, and they have, from a public perception standpoint, like we were talking about, I mean, like, people are really angry with the Yankees, like really angry with the Yankees. Their fan base after last season, obviously they didn't make the playoffs, that whole thing. And they kept Aaron Boone. Like, people weren't happy about that. Kept Cashman. All that stuff. I think there was no team in baseball that needed to trade for Juan Soto more than the Yankees.
Yeah, I agree. And I think my big concern is
that sucked though.
I
mean, look, I'd rather be a Yankee than a Brave, or whatever. But
I'm just
look.
I know you're such a sports fan. Like you're Cowboys, Yankees, Duke, Lakers, Celtics, hate them all. You're
really
such a sports fan. Like, I get it. But like, I sort of like when the Yankees are good, it's
fun for baseball.
It's fun. It's fun to watch.
And he feels like a Yankee.
Oh man, he's gonna be. I'm excited to see how it all works. A Judge in center field for a season seems like a disaster.
So wouldn't they put him in left and put Verdugo in center?
I don't know if he can play center, Verdugo.
Well, he's got to play better than Judge, no?
Judge is a good
outfielder. But Verdugo's a really good outfielder.
No, Judge is like a really, really good defensive center fielder. It's just he's huge.
You think Judge can play center field?
I think they're gonna try.
Yeah, I know he's a good outfielder, but he's 6'7".
Yeah. Well, listen, he's only gotten hurt running into walls.
Yeah,
less
it
walls
just
in
seems
center field.
so. It would be. You'll be unique to watch. That's for sure.
He's gonna be a big center fielder. I think is the takeaway.
Yes.
Is the takeaway. But so I think my big concern with everything, and it's not for us, and it's not for our listeners, but like the buzz heading into spring training is just not going to be there.
There won't be any.
And which is fine. I mean,
maybe it helps the team. Maybe they're probably not.
Well, it's just gonna the season's gonna start, and I feel like people will check in more in May and June rather than like.
Or they need to get off
bang.
and get off to a hot start for once, and when let's start 15-5, and then people show up.
Yes. And I think people show up because I think people like the baseball team. But
and look, they showed up last year when we thought they might not after the World Series. Like they showed up while Trey was still struggling. Like they showed up throughout the year. I think people will show up. It's more about the buzz. Like people will go to the ballpark. That's an activity. It's something you do with your family. It's something that's ingrained in us. And they're good. People don't go when they're not. But when they're good, I'm saying people will go. It's the excitement around the team. It's the vibes around the team, which we talked about last year. The magic of the whole thing, and now it just felt so special. And like I don't think it. And look, maybe that doesn't matter. All we really want to win is a World Series, and everything else is secondary. So like,
also, the beginning of the season,
who cares? But it won't have that same kind of excitement to him. We love that. It's our favorite thing. It's our favorite team. It's our favorite sport. Like we want it we want everyone to be as excited about them as we are. And I don't think that it'll take a little time for that.
Yeah, and maybe we're underrating the fan base. Like maybe when it gets closer to spring training, it'll be like, oh man, the boys are back, which I can't wait for. By the way,
me too.
Like it's just
let's go.
Yeah,
it's like 70-something days. Let's go.
I know. I do already miss it. I already miss the daily grind. Like I kind of walk around when the Phillies aren't a thing, and it's just. What's the point?
That seems like Vincent really. How am I supposed to respond to that? Walker. I wouldn't say that to Walker.
No.
Like Walker probably would say, "I'm the point." It's a thought.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, it's like,
a part of you is missing.
A part of me is missing. A part of
good way to say.
My core is missing.
Who you are?
Am I filling it by gambling on the NBA? Yes. I was gonna add to my FanDuel reads.
How's that going?
It's awesome.
Yeah, you're crushing
it's awesome. I had a $500 parlay last 2 nights ago.
Whoa! Look at you.
I've taken probably $500 out of FanDuel the last week and a half. So.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
Yeah. No, I've been hot. Yeah. I took 300 out 2 nights ago.
You're like winning.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's. I watch a lot of NBA.
Look at you.
I'm just letting you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty proud of you.
Yeah,
that's
thanks.
like, wow.
It takes a lot. But
it's like a second job for you.
Well, dude, I was all right. I was watching Clippers Nuggets in my bed at 12:30 at night last night on my phone. So
I'll be up in a few hours.
Yep. Yep. So that's how. You want to ask me what I'm doing when I'm not thinking about the Phillies?
We really need baseball.
No, I really need it.
Yeah,
no, I really need it bad.
I don't know if this is helpful.
It's just like baseball's just like there's no other sport that makes me feel the way that the baseball team here does.
I think we all know.
Like they're just the best. They're simply the best. And like I'm not gonna do an Eagles thing.
No.
It's every night. There's something new. There's something exciting. I get to see a young kid. There's so many storylines.
Oh, I know. You get a Wes Wilson, Michael Lorenzen game out. I know you get Luke Williams and his family in the stands. Trust me, I get it, buddy.
Just miss it.
I get it.
Really, I miss the daily Phillies game.
All right. Speaking of Phillies, let's get
which
back
I feel like
to
we get to every time around this point of the year.
Yeah.
So I miss the daily Phillies
This
game.
is the time.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get back to they're not going to do anything. Like, do you want
my updated perfect offseason?
It makes me sad. But yes, we're gonna do it. But it makes me really sad. But is there any chance there's some rope-a-doping going here? Is there any chance that they're putting out, hey, we're not really doing anything, and they're the team to pounce on someone? I don't think it's gonna be Yamamoto or whatever, but like Blake Snell's only 100 million. Oh, boom, or whatever it is. Like, do you think the Phillies are potentially lying in wait? Do you think they're really saying, look, this market's not playing out for us. If there's a trade there, we'll take it. But more likely, we're going to kind of fill on the fringes and head into camp.
I think there's a 100% chance that it's not a rope-a-dope. I just think they're going to be opportunistic. Like, it reminds me a lot of when they signed Castellanos. I mean, it was essentially the market crater, and they're like, why would we not sign Castellanos? So maybe that happens for Blake Snell. if you're telling me they can add Blake Snell as like with Aaron Nola, obviously a win.
No brainer.
Yeah,
at
no
that
brainer.
point, yes, please.
Yeah, so I think there's 100%. And really, I think the next thing that could happen is a trade. I mean, that's where it comes down to. Is free agency, I think, and I might as well. I was going to put it in my take bag, but now that we're talking about it, like, I think the biggest thing that we have to adjust with the current state of the Phillies and the way that, free agency is going and the way the offseason is going is that now it is entirely on, and not to put pressure on them, I'm very sorry, but it's on player development and it's on Brian Barber to keep getting talent in the system, because now it's trades.
Well, that's what I said in the pod. That's why I said I trust these guys to draft and develop talent, and that's part of the reason I was willing to trade away our guys.
Like, I don't think the Phillies are going to be huge players in free agency, because I think when you have, at least for the next couple of years, because I think when you have your roster pretty much set and they have their core for the next 3 years is Bryce, JT, Schwarber, Castellanos, Turner, Stott, Bohm, Marsh. Like, that's pretty set. Wheeler, they'll probably extend this offseason.
Yeah, I think so.
Nola, Ranger, Chris Sanchez, Andrew Painter, whatever. Like, it's pretty much set. But
Nick Abel, hopefully in a couple of years.
And look at
trade him.
Look at what the Dodgers have done, the last couple of years. It's like their roster is pretty much set, but then they go out and they trade their prospects to add around those guys. And the Mookie trade was bigger, but like I think about the Scherzer trade and really the Turner trade. Yep. Like when you get to this point as a franchise and you get to this point as a team, then it becomes about the trades you make, not the free agent signings that you make. And that's what we're currently dealing with is people want these free agent signings because we've been so accustomed the last couple of years of they're going to be players in free agency. It's not the case when the roster is pretty much set. Now it's about the trades around those guys. Maybe it's a trade for a lockdown, shutdown star reliever.
Like we've talked about.
I mean, I think that's a trade that could happen. And then I don't know. I mean, maybe the Snell market craters and they sign him, but I think there is definitely one possible big move left. I think if I had to choose one, it'd be for one of the star relievers.
Please, buddy. I would be very.
It'd
we
be
talked
fun.
about. I mean, we
well,
talked about.
I don't. There seems to be this thing, and I don't get why. I do get why. It's because people like to be fake smart, and there's nothing that bothers me more than this like fake smart sports arguments, like the run the ball stuff right now. Of course, the Eagles have to establish a run.
Of course they do.
Like just shut up.
It's so annoying. Like yes, they have to run the ball and they have to run it better. Like what else? Why are we even having this discussion? Like,
it shouldn't be this hard.
Thank you.
It shouldn't be this hard.
I am so with you.
Like it's okay.
Some things are obvious.
But
some things we don't have to fight about. Some things we can all say, yeah, you know what? We all agree. That's what happened.
You love those arguments.
I do. You know me.
But that's how I feel about the closer position. Like, having a guy that can just shut down the ninth is valuable. And it's like, yeah, I know the Phillies the last couple of years, they've had a revolving door back there, but that's because they haven't had the guy. They haven't had someone they can just stick in the ninth. And, like, yeah, maybe Alvarado's better than whatever closer they can go trade for. Maybe not. But at that point, Alvarado can be in the 7th. He can be in the 8th. They could have Sir Anthony. Like, they go from the whole, why would you trade assets for a closer? Because it lets everyone, it turns your bullpen from really good. It was a top 5 bullpen last year to, like, the best in the sport. A souped up bullpen. Like, well, and it's if there's the time to do it, it's probably now.
Well, and honestly, if you look at the way they lost the last 2 postseasons, I mean, Houston, obviously, that was maybe the greatest bullpen in the history of the sport, up there, whatever, but that played a major role in them losing. And last year, not that Ginkle and Sewald are the best bullpen we've ever seen, but they were amazing. They were amazing in the playoffs, those 2 guys. Those guys, until the World Series, those guys were unhittable. And that's part of the reason they got there. Like, being able to shut guys down at the end of playoff games, being able to win games like that. Oh, maybe we saw it in games 3 and 4, what that would have done for the Phillies if they had shut down guys. They could come in and shut it down. Like, they would have been in the World Series last year. Like, it's massively important.
So I don't understand why it's always, I think we've gone too far with the closer doesn't matter thing. It's still the 3 hardest outs to get in a baseball game.
And especially in the biggest of games when the pressure is the biggest. Well, like, those are tough outs to get.
Well, and especially if Rob Thompson's going to be as aggressive as he is in some of these games, like you need a souped up bullpen.
And it almost saves him from himself. Having a guy at the end that you can just count, like, that guy's there. Let me build up to that each time and not have to worry about how many a game.
So, yeah, I just think that if there's ever a time to do it, it's your World Series window to do it.
I'm
and this is the World
100%
Series
with
window.
you.
Like, if you can go get a Bednar, you can go get a Devin Williams, you can go get one of these lockdown
Alex
guys.
Lang or
You'd
Alexis
love Alex.
Diaz or whatever. I just like to throw out names.
I know.
But I do. Yes, Alex Lang is really good.
So,
But I'd rather have Bednar for what it's worth.
Oh, yeah, Bednar's.
Bednar would be my top
number
choice
one.
of those guys. Yep.
So I think we've just gone too far with the whole closer doesn't matter thing, and especially listen with the way this team, with the way the manager manages in the biggest games of the year, instead of having Kimbrel have to come in that spot, or if Sir Anthony's not pitching as well, or instead of having to, if you want to not extend Chris Sanchez later into a game or Ranger into a game, which I hope we can just knock off. I don't want to deal with that ananymore.
Just let your freaking starter
go.
when he's okay.
When has he ever shown he can't handle it?
It's
But you might as well just build a souped up bullpen. Might as well. I mean, I think Kirkering would be, honestly, maybe the biggest thing that they're internally debating right now, and I think it's one of the bigger questions about the team, is how great can Ryan Kirkering be? Can Kirkering
be Bednar,
be Devin Williams, be one of the best closers in baseball? Because if he can be,
then there's no reason to.
It totally changes everything.
Yeah, then he's the guy.
But
we don't
you
know.
could also have him and those guys.
Yeah.
So I would be, and it especially helps you get through 162. And we know how important bullpens are in the postseason.
Speaking of, you just mentioned his name. Thoughts on $13 million for Craig Kimbrel?
A raise,
not just by the 101-win Orioles team, but to be their closer. How about that?
Well, imagine going from Felix Bautista to Craig Kimbrel.
And Bautista obviously out for the year, so they said Kimbrel's going to be their closer. Isn't that wild? You just watched it, and then you're like, yep, that guy. I know he's good during the year.
Yeah, but listen, they'll probably turn him into a stud because they have a bit of a
really
pitching factory.
They're really good at that stuff. Yeah. All right, I want to get to your perfect offseason. I want to talk about the Harper thing.
That's not a perfect offseason.
Your boring perfect off. Your lame perfect offseason. Yeah. But you just mentioned Thompson real quick, so I'll just throw that in there. Thoughts on the 1 year extension? I didn't want him to be a lame duck. Clearly, he would have been a lame duck this year. They add the 1 more year. I think a lot of people are like, just 1 year, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
So I can't tell if it's more. Thompson or the Phillies, because
because he's talked a lot about just being
exactly. So
doesn't even care what he makes and doesn't even almost retired before getting the job.
Exactly. So
I had that thought too.
I was like, maybe he's just like, I'm
gonna kind of go year by year,
and maybe if he gets to the point where it's like, I'm ready to move on. He seems very comfortable with moving on and going back to Canada.
He seems very comfortable talking about it and saying how he really feels about it.
Yeah. So maybe they felt like they didn't have to give him 3 years.
Sure.
Or it's the Phillies being like, we'll play it year by year, and if what happens again this year, then maybe we move on and we'll pay you that extra year and see what happens.
How shook do you think they were by the playoffs? Because again, I think. And, we battled about the levels of it, but I think everyone can agree Rob Thompson, even he said it. He said it in his postseason press conferences. He made some mistakes. He trusted some guys too much. He should have done some different things in some different spots. How much do you think the Phillies are concerned about that?
I don't know if they're concerned. I think that it's something they're monitoring because I think
he's a great manager.
I think Rob Thompson's one of the best managers in baseball.
I do too.
I just think that
I love the guy.
If his fault or whatever is he's too loyal, then I think they want to see how he does next year. If he does the loyalty thing, if he changes it around and it doesn't work again, then it's like, okay, maybe it's not Rob Thompson. But my first thought was, is he angling for Alex Cora? Alex Cora was the guy.
1 more year left in Boston, or 2 more years left in Boston, whatever kind of
guy he hired in Boston.
Yep.
Rob Thompson's getting older. The Red Sox, he seems frustrated with what's going on up there. Maybe that was a high and bloom problem. Maybe under Craig Breslow, he's more, he's more happy. But if Alex Cora becomes available in a year, I think Alex Cora is a difference-making manager. I love Alex Cora. So maybe that's I think Alex Cora is the best manager in the sport.
Yeah. Council's up there,
Man, I'm so sick of Craig Counsell.
I think he's really good, but look, he's never won the playoffs either.
Oh my God.
No, rephrase. I'm sorry. Bruce Bochy is the best manager of the sport. Period.
Sure.
Sorry, he is.
Yeah.
You have to give it to him.
Yeah.
The dude came back and won the World Series again.
He's good.
But I agree. I think Cora's top 3.
I think Cora's a stud. So that was one of my thoughts. And the year thing was, the year thing was really interesting, and I couldn't tell if it was more Thompson or more the Phillies. And I think they'll be curious to see what happens in the postseason. And it might just be if they fall short again, they have to do something. They have to,
because yeah.
The problem is like I keep loving the staff they built around him. You know,
Me too.
like
and look, I think
like
Rob's good.
They brought in. I think Rob Thompson's
and
great.
For what it's worth, I don't think this is going to be an issue because I think he will change. The way he talked after the season in his postseason press conference, the way he talked about the mistakes he made, like he seemed really thoughtful and pensive about it, and was like, he was willing to admit that he's like, yeah, I probably did certain things wrong. I probably trusted guys in spots I shouldn't have. Like he admitted it. So and hearing him after he gets the contract saying, I haven't been able to watch a World Series. It hurts too much. Like I would be surprised if a guy like him didn't learn at least some sort of lesson.
Sure. But you know, and you look at the kind of the staff they're building around him. You know, I like Caleb Cotham a lot.
I mean, I think Cotham is
stud.
Yeah.
Kevin Long, good. I just like they added these. I love that they went to the Giants, and I love they went to the Astros when they got these like extra hitting coaches around them, because you know what sunk them in the playoffs? Started chasing everything.
Yeah.
Giants and Astros are two of the best non-chasing teams in the sport. The Astros, for the last 6 years, top of baseball in the least amount of strikeouts. So poaching from those teams, I think is brilliant. This kind of like smart organization stuff. I love what they're doing. I love that they poach from those two teams, and because I'm always like, I watched the Giants the last couple of years, and you say to yourself, wow, they have no talent. Yep. And you watch all their hitters, and it's like they have a
dude. The 107 win team is the worst 107 win team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like it was unbelievable that roster won 107. It was outrageous,
ridiculous. And sure, their pitching's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and look, you get lucky in certain spots to get to 107. You know, like 1-run games, things can go your way, but man, they get the most out of what they have.
They're building
another pitching factory too.
Dude, they're building just a stud holistic organization when it comes to what's going on down in Clearwater, when it comes down to like everything they're doing in player development, the big league coaching staff. Like that's been the big stuff behind the scenes that will matter.
And matter for a long time. That's the infrastructure that matters, like we talked about.
And when it comes to when you're not making big roster upgrades, getting the most out of the players that you do have here, like that's the upgrades that I think are going to happen in the next couple of years. And the trade market's going to be something that they're going to have to explore as these guys become more and more available.
Dave has a history of making some really good trades.
Not here. I mean, he makes good trades.
Alvarado. The Alvarado trade was great.
No, I'm the big trade. He hasn't made
the big trade here. Anybody has? He's a history of it.
Oh yeah.
All right. We'll get to your lame updated offseason, we'll call it, and the take back in a sec. Last thing before that, the Harper thing. The Scott Boras coming out and saying that Bryce Harper wants a contract extension to finish his career in Philadelphia. Little confused, Jack. I thought we already had that. I thought the 13-year, $330 million contract was to finish your career. There are 4 people last year in baseball, 4, who were over the age of 39. 4. There are only 6 others who were 39 or older.
And there's only one member of this podcast that is over the age of 39.
You're damn right, buddy. Let me tell you, at the age of 42, it hurts.
You don't want to go out and hit a baseball?
I mean everything. I wake up at night because my leg is like tight because I'm sleeping with it like crooked. Like that's all it takes to make my body like convulse with pain. Like
you and Bryce Harper.
We're the same, more or less, physically fit in similar ways.
For sure.
Like we love Bryce. It's our guy. I love him. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, and I get that he didn't get taken out in the contract and that he would have made a lot more money if he had and all that. But, like, he didn't put an opt-out in the contract. That wasn't our choice. That was your choice to sign that, Bryce. And, like, look, I love him. And I would more say, hey, Bryce, when you're done, we'll give you roll with the organization. We'll pay you all this, but whatever. Like, I'll do whatever to keep you in the sport, whatever I'll offer. But, like, not now. Like, in 4 years, if Bryce is still crushing it and he's awesome, all right, Bryce, let's talk about 4 more years from now. Like, this is nuts. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think it's absolutely asinine. I think it is asinine. And it's Scott Boras, and I get it. I think to ask for an extension when you have 8 years left on your contract and you're 30 years old, 31 years old, I actually think it's beyond the pale. Like, I love Bryce, and I'm not ripping him, but I think this is outrageous. Outrageous.
Well, but Middleton wants to do it. So what's
it's outrageous? Then John shouldn't do it. Why would you do it? Why? So give me a reason why you would do this. I add on 4 years, 40, 41, and 42. You know what the history of baseball says? That he's going to suck those years if he plays.
Yeah, but he's also not going to get all right. So he's 38. He's at towards
39.
The end. 39, and he's towards the end of his career, and he's not going to be able to get that kind. He's not going to get $25 million a year.
I understand why they're
so
doing
that's why
it.
he's doing
I think
it.
It's outrageous, though. Like, I'm sorry, you're making.
He's being smart.
No, I get what he's trying to do. I don't like it, though. Like, again,
why?
Because he's got 8 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
Again, if he had 3 or 4 years left, fine. We're talking about 8 years down the road. Like,
3 or 4 years
this has
from now,
never happened before. This is not something that they do in baseball.
We haven't seen many, love affairs between a city and a player quite like Bryce.
Look, I love the guy, but the point is, like,
you just strike him while the iron's hot. And if Middleton's like, all right, I'll do it.
I think it'd be a mistake. I think John Middleton should put his foot down. I think it sets a really, really bad precedent.
But then also
with them, Trey Turner has a great year this year. It's like, you know what? I want to add 2 more years to my contract. Like, are you serious? You're setting a precedent. Yeah. I think it is insane. I think it would be a massive mistake to give him that money.
You're setting a precedent, and I get that. But I also think that, okay, he doesn't do it. Is Bryce as good of an I don't think he would not be.
I do not think Bryce Harper would change the way he goes about his business. I don't think he would be like, well, I'm not going to try as hard because you can give me money on the back end of my
try hard, but I mean,
I'm not going to be as loving towards the city. No way. That's Bryce. Bryce does what he does. Like, I don't think there's any chance. Now, theoretically, Boris could cause a problem, and then it's a different discussion. If it's like, well, Bryce is going to.
Would you rather cause a problem, or would you rather give him 3 years, 75 on the end?
I would rather put my foot down. I'm not just getting bullied into this.
But he's not getting bullied. He wants to do it. Like, he's not getting bullied.
Then it's a mistake. Do you don't think there's a mistake to give Bryce Harper $75 million age 39 to 41, 42 seasons?
Well,
I think it's crazy.
Financial for the
reason that they took risks. What if Bryce Harper broke his freaking leg in the first year? Is never the same player. Like, the Phillies took on that risk, signed to a $330 million contract,
and he's completely outdone all of that.
He has, but you know what? That's what you paid for.
Right.
The reason you signed such a big contract is that you're paying for the beginning of the contract to pay off the end, because years 36, 37, 38, 39, he's not going to be worth that money. And you hope that as inflation goes and stuff, he's worth closer to that. But a 38-year-old Bryce Harper is not going to be worth $25 million. He's not going to be worth $20 million most likely. So, like, you're paying off those back-end years with the value that you make on the early years. That's the whole reason to do a contract like this. Like, and this quickly into it, have an opt-out in your contract then, Bryce. They would have given him one. If he wanted a contract with an opt-out, they would have given it to him. That was his freaking idea. Like, I get it, and I love Bryce, but I think this is a step too far. I don't think this is right, and I don't think John Middleton should do it. That's how I feel about it.
Well, if there's one guy to do it with, he's the right guy to do it with.
Agree. He's the only person I would even consider it for. But, like, again, I think it's a massive mistake. I would say, Bryce, wait a couple years, man. Like,
But he's not going to get the contract in a couple years.
It is what it is. Like, again, like, then you should have put it out. You should have put an opt-out in your contract. You should have put an opt-out. Like, sorry. Again, you're paying for he's not going to be even. Let's be honest. Bryce Harper will not even likely be playing at the age of 40 or 41. The way violent with his body, the amount of injuries he's had on it. Again, there are 4 players in the sport this year over 40 years old. 4. Like, it just doesn't happen. And I know with medical and stuff, we're getting better and people are doing it more and more. But the idea that Bryce Harper is going to be a valuable player for those right now, the last 3 years of the contract, much less the 3 you would add, are unlikely.
They are unlikely. But at the same time, like, I just think that it's $25 million. If it turns into, like,
$25 million, that's a lot of money for someone who's probably not going to play for you. It's
almost it's a lifetime achievement award.
It's crazy.
It's
give him a freaking award. Don't give him money. Like, this is crazy. Pay him in other ways. Like I said, give him a job with the organization where you make $20 million a year once you're done. That doesn't go against the freaking luxury tax. Like, I just think it's a mistake.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think financially, sure. it's a mistake, like because it's taking $25 million off in 2031.
I just don't think you get bullied around by everyone.
But
like
what if
Scott Boras knows that anytime he wants to do this with a player who's valuable, he could do it to you.
Yeah, but I think this is
a unique situation.
I think it is a unique situation. It is.
I just think it's 8 years out. Like, it's crazy to me. Be
It's
good for a couple more years. Be really good. If he's good for 3 more years and he's closer to that age, then it makes sense. Then it's like, all right, you could be good in 4 years from now. It's 8 years. He missed half the last 2 seasons practically. Like, again, I love Bryce. I'm super happy he's here for the next 8 years. I think it is insane to tack on stuff to this kind. I honestly think it's crazy.
Huh?
Okay.
Good.
So you disagree?
I just don't care.
Okay.
Whatever.
That's fine.
Whatever keeps Bryce happy.
I get that, man. I
know you're worried about your 50s.
Dude, look, I've only got how many more seasons do I have left in my life? All right, I want to maximize them. Yeah, like and look, those years are already going to be tough. We all know, like the back end of the trade contract and the back end of the Bryce contract in tandem are going to suck. That's going to be $60 million a year to 2 guys who can't play close to that level. It is what it is. That's what you do with these contracts, but that's why you sign them, so that you get the value early, and then you pay it off late by having to pay guys who are not as good as that money. Like, that's the way it works.
Yeah,
don't sign a 13-year deal, Bryce. Sign a 7-year deal and get another contract.
Yeah, but I just think that because he knows right now that when he's 38, 39, he's never going to get $25 million a year.
He's getting $330 million.
Yeah, but he's also
on top of all the other money that he's already made and all the other money. And look, I get it. I'm not ripping someone for going for more money. He's an athlete. I'm just saying I wouldn't give it to him, and I think it's crazy to think to give it.
I just think the downside of possibly causing any rifts is not worth it. So, if it keeps him happy, keeps him happy. If it's $25 million 8 years from now, then whatever.
I think that's a really bad way to do business. You just talked about being a winning organization. Like, winning organizations don't do that.
Winning organizations also keep their players happy, and he's an all-timer, and he will be happy. I agree, he'll be happy, but I think there'll be a little.
Happy either way. Like,
yeah,
he's making money and he's here and he's getting a chance to win. He wants to win. Guy wants to win.
He also wants to make sure he's it's financially stable.
Yes, is he going to be okay with that $330 million plus all the money he already made plus whatever endorsement? I mean, the guy's probably going to make $500 million like in his life without this extra money.
He wants to play through his 40s in the Phillies. It's all right.
Yeah,
okay.
If you're still good in 4 years, Bryce, we could talk. That's where I'm at.
Well, I don't know if he gets. I don't know if he gets it.
Sucks for you, Bryce. Yeah. Like, I think it's crazy to me. I think this is nonsense as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't give it to him. That's how I feel.
Well, seems like John wants to. So,
do you think he's going to? Because I don't think it's a lock that he's going to give it to him.
What if Bryce held out? Does Bryce hold out for the?
That's what I mean. I don't think Bryce would. I don't think it's that big a deal. Like, I think Scott's taking a shot. He's going to miss, hopefully, and then we move on. That's what I think. All right, what do you got for a lame lineup for me, or a lame off season for me?
Let's get it back to the important.
Yes.
Harrison Bader. I don't know. I
like Kyle Lewis.
So I'm trying to look at where we are now, and I did not expect the Jock Peterson. We'll see the Jock Peterson thing happen.
And look, if they do, so I'm fine with that. Yeah,
but it was weird. It was like another lefty that's essentially Mini Schwarber.
Yeah, well, that's the weird part. It's a guy who strikes out. Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted like Eddie Rosario, where it's at least someone's going to put the ball in play for you and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, it was just so when it happened, I was like, well, that's obviously a weird fit.
Yeah,
and then,
I mean, the idea is he's a Jake Cave replacement, right? But it's just
but he's like a 12. Like how much?
Also,
how many millions are we paying Jock Peterson to fit the Jake Cave role?
I don't know.
I guess like it would be Marsh and him on a platoon against righties.
It doesn't make any sense.
It
doesn't make a lot of sense.
You talk yourself into it because he's a Philly,
because he wins, because he's a guy who's shown up in the playoffs.
But Harrison Bader is a good defensive center fielder that hit some dope home runs for the Yankees.
Yeah,
and he did have like a 400 OPS with the Reds last year after the trade, so that hurts him a little bit.
It's a tough.
It's a tough one. But I do think I think it would be a mistake, and I like Johan Rojas. I just think it would be a mistake to go into next year. That's my center fielder.
Oh, I agree. Well, what about Marsh though?
Well, yeah, I mean, I really liked the Marsh and left.
I did too.
Rojas in center field,
me too.
Defensively, and Marsh if they could go get a more established left fielder that doesn't,
which they could theoretically.
Yeah. Well, is there a trade? The one that I wanted to bring up because that was just free agents. Like if the Cardinals are just giving away Tyler O'Neill. I would
take him
100%.
second. Yes.
Dude, the guy has like 35 home run potential.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to stay healthy. It's a huge outfield in St. Louis. He's a good defensive player. If you sign him to play left field and hit 30 home runs here, 35 home runs, like he's been banged up, and I get that, but that's a trade I would 100% be all over.
I think they need to. I mean, they definitely have to add a bat of some kind.
They will.
Yeah.
No, they will. I
mean, they have to.
The rest of the offseason is finding the right
bullpen
field
pieces and the bat.
Yeah, finding not in right field. Finding a right-handed bat that can come off the bench or possibly start in left.
Yeah, because if you could move Marsh back and forth between center and left, theoretically, if you don't want to go with Rojas as a full-time guy and so on and so forth.
And a closer. And we'll see. I think there's three things. If they can get out from under the Taiwan deal and sign another starter or trade for a starter, I think that's on the table. Reliever, hopefully a stud. And then a right-handed bench bat.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love it, but I will take it.
You do love it.
All right, take back.
Hold on.
You want to finish this?
There's more.
I think it's Kyle Lewis, who I like.
Duvall. I mean, how many times do I have to do this?
On every list forever. Just Adam Duvall.
Until he's retired.
You know, like in your notes, Ab, you'll go through and you're like, oh, I'm going to add to this, change it. Like he's just a perma, stays on the list.
For life. I'm sorry, Adam. You better be a Philly one day. Kyle Lewis I can't quit him.
I like Kyle Lewis.
I can't quit Kyle Lewis.
Yeah, I like Kyle
We'll
Lewis.
always want him. And the upside is really, really high, obviously. Kike just plays everywhere and seems like a good clubhouse guy.
He does.
And Chase.
I feel like he's on
him.
winning teams. I feel like I've seen Kike play in the playoffs a fair amount.
Jordan Hicks. I mean, of course, when you can have 102.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
Wasn't he 104, I thought?
It's just stupid.
So he's the guy who has like the 15 fastest pitches ever in baseball.
I think
right?
so.
I'm pretty sure, like, if you look at the list of I'm going to do it real quick. Fastest pitches ever thrown. I'm pretty sure the whole list is Jordan Hicks.
So it goes. I mean, if you
Tip Chapman, obviously, but fastest.
If you have a back end of your bullpen of like Hicks, Alvarado, Soto, I mean, like it goes from it's the superpower Ben.
Okay, here we go. That's from 2010. 2011,
nice.
Aroldis Chapman did have the top 15. Let's see. Here we go. We're pulling it up. What is the fastest pitch ever thrown? So it's is this an old article? I keep finding old articles. Oh no, this is new. Okay, good. So it's still Aroldis Chapman does have the fastest pitch ever thrown. 105.8.
Nice.
Hunter Green, 105.2.
Starter. Both Reds.
Yeah, this is not a list. This is just like random.
Either way. Jordan Hicks throws hard.
It was very hard.
Yes, and he was a great linebacker for the Eagles. But if you have a power,
it's a great line.
If you have a power bullpen, I just think that you have those guys in the back end. It's nasty. Hector is kind of he was kind of lucky last year, even though his ERA is 1.7. But regardless, Shintaro Fujinami, like as a reliever, like he throws 103 and has like. If he's all over like pitching ninja and like look how insane his stuff is. But then his ERA is in the 7s. A little different as a reliever. And then my personal favorite, who I need that, like he's my number one target for the rest of the offseason, which I know is very, very exciting for everyone. But it's Robert Stevenson.
Oh, of course.
Robert Stevenson.
Yes.
2.35 ERA.
Former Red
Pirate, and then was traded to the Rays last year.
Yep.
He's a stud.
Wasn't what I was expecting.
He'd have a chance to close if they brought him here.
That was not what I was expecting.
He's number one target for the rest of the offseason. Robert Stevenson. Get excited.
Okay, so we're in on Robert Stevenson.
Robert Stevenson. He's the guy.
That's the guy. So he's the new Jesse Chavez.
Yeah, except he's not. Like Jesse Chavez was more of a bit. Believe it or not, because he's like
kind of a bit.
This is not a bit. This
is the number one.
No,
target.
like Robert Stevenson needs to be a Philly.
Oh, good.
Like, he's disgusting.
Wow,
yeah.
I love
that.
No,
he's disgusting. He like if it comes down to it, he could close for this team.
Oh wow.
He's gonna be one of the best relievers in baseball next year. There's no doubt about it.
All right. I love the confidence you say it with.
Like I'm just telling you, like if you're looking for next year's Fritz guys, if you're looking for well, you don't do holds leagues, which is lame.
No, that's lame.
No,
who cares about holds?
Oh, it's
not
the greatest.
A real thing.
Come on, man. You get
like
middle relievers in fantasy baseball.
Have you ever watched outside of fantasy? Have you ever watched a game and been like, great hold by Dominguez tonight?
It's not.
No, you never say that. You don't think about it. It's not a real stat. It's like
yeah. When Andrew Miller was at his peak, of course I was watching Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller was stud.
Yeah. So why don't you calm down?
Love that guy.
Calm down and grow up. Robert Stevenson, number one target.
All right. For those only listening to the pod, Jack turned and just did a real smile at the camera.
Right into the camera. Sign Robert Stevenson.
Good.
That's all that matters.
That's all. There it is. Look at that. All right. Take back.
Sign Robert Stevenson.
Is that it? That's a take back. All right, we're out of here.
Oh, the no more red uniforms. Are you heartbroken?
No, I'm actually quite happy about it.
They were bad.
They were my least favorite Phillies uniform. Like they look rinky-dink.
I didn't
They look like spring training.
Well, they were.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I always felt like. I'm like, all right, so we're bringing out the spring training uniforms. Cool.
Yeah. So no more red uniforms. I think they're getting City Connects next year, which is going to be
that they are.
Which is, I hate the City
enough
Connects.
already.
They're bad.
Yeah, here's my thing. All these things are just to get people to buy new jerseys. Like it's just always let's do a new one. Like
just make
enough.
Give
me the creams and the powder blues, the pinstripes, and I'm good. I don't need anything
What
else.
about a Kelly Green?
I thought you said you didn't want to talk Eagles. What are you doing here?
No, but a Kelly Green Phillies jersey.
It would be awesome.
Hilarious.
I would love it.
Come on, man.
Get the
Bryce
Eagles
and
to
the
wear
Kelly
maroon
Green
sometime.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
we tried the blue and
dirty.
we tried the blue and green the one time, and that was not great.
Yeah.
That was not great. Are you mad at Shohei Ohtani for not revealing who he's meeting with? Is he killing the sport?
That was a really dumb tweet.
Dude, all those dude, I can't stand.
It's this should be such a big deal for this sport. I think it's actually kind of hilarious.
I like how mad. Like I can't take beat writers sometimes.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Like, I'm sorry that you're not getting easy scoops.
Yeah.
Like
I'm sorry you can't write 10,000 articles about Shohei's visits everywhere. Like, sorry.
I know. And
yet we still all know, right? We've all heard it's the Cubs and it's the Blue Jays and it's the Giants.
The Dave Roberts.
The Angels.
The Dave Roberts. Yeah, we talked to him. Like, it was like, what are you doing? Like, would you
mark that, Tucker?
They probably should have fired him. Like, first off, he's a horrible manager.
Mark it. So Tucker did not mark it. Mark it. We don't mess around.
We don't curse on this podcast, Tucker.
Okay, good. You got to go back and fix that.
51-30.
If it's not fixed, I apologize, everyone. It's Tucker Bagley's fault.
Yes.
Just so everyone knows.
Yes, not your fault. Never.
I always go back and edit it perfectly. There's never one time that I forgot to edit out the.
Yeah. So, no, the Dave Roberts thing. Like, honestly, if it cost them Shohei, he should be fired.
He should be fired. I mean, can we be honest? He should have been fired a long time ago.
He's a terrible manager.
He's an awful, horrendous.
They've never gotten it right.
No. Tom and Lasorda. They haven't gotten it right since Lasorda. Before your time, I know, I'm old.
Who needs him?
I watched him win World Series.
He tried to fight the fanatic.
Yeah, he was funny about it though.
It is almost. Speaking of good things, it's almost yearbook time. It's almost. I think it came out December. I think it came out New Year's Eve last year.
So all right, let's get inside the head here.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about it until this second.
Okay, how? Obviously, you expect to be in it. Let's be honest.
I don't.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. A little bit this year, you expect. I mean. Certain things happened this year that would make a lot of sense for you to make your official yearbook debut.
Yeah.
Like, if ever was going to happen, how I know how excited you'll be if you're in it. That goes without saying. How disappointed will you be if you're not?
Oh, incredibly. Like, are you serious? There's 1 year to do it. It's this year.
You better be. I will be disappointed.
They're gonna put it there. I would, if I had to bet, they'd probably put like a video compilation, audio compilation of everyone and the whole thing. So we'll be a part of it. And one day when Walker and I go back and start, probably 2001 video yearbook, me and Walker.
Oh, you go start there and go back.
01 to the current. As we work our way through the video yearbooks, he'll hear my voice.
Why not start with 2000 if you're just going to pick a random year in the 2000s? Like, why not start with the actual?
I don't remember anything about 2000.
Oh, so 2001's the first year you remember?
I don't remember anything.
Wow.
In life.
So usually when you try to make me feel old, like by telling me I'm old, it doesn't actually make me feel old.
The only thing I remember about the year.
I felt really old there for a minute. I graduated high school in 2000.
Wow.
So, yeah.
No, again, my first memory of life is Doug Peterson playing quarterback for the Eagles.
Wow.
And then I remember I was a lion on Halloween, and I remember that outfit. And then I remember...
Wow. So 1999 is your first memory.
Yeah. And then
Doug Peterson playing quarterback. That's pretty hilarious, actually.
And then I remember I was at a 2000 New Year's Eve party. And then that's about it.
Wow.
I remember I changed the channel. So one of my earliest memories of life is in 2001. There was some football game going on during the World Series, and I only wanted to watch the World Series, and my parents were at like a big party or whatever,
and
I changed the channel from the football game, and everyone got so mad at me.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, oh, it's Game 7. Like, what are you talking about?
Little Jack.
Yeah. I remember because I do not like being yelled at.
Uh-huh.
So I remember every single time in my life I've been yelled at.
Do you really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I never get over it.
Really?
It's actually the biggest thing that Jill and I have in common is that we both remember
What?
Yeah.
This is
every time
wild.
anytime anyone's ever been mad at me, I remember every single time.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
And I can't get over it. I
It's like
cannot get over it.
millions of them
Until
that
people
have
like
happened to
me, I don't get over it.
Good to know.
It's Jill and I's the biggest thing that we have in
That
common.
is so fascinating.
Is that
wow.
is that we remember every single time that
Yeah.
we've gotten like talked to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Deep inside
Don't
the psyche of
don't
Fritz.
ever cross me.
I know. Well, yeah, you might not recover from it.
We'll never recover
yeah,
from it. Yeah.
That's good. Well, I do think there is a lesson there, though, that if I do that, then you will just spend all your time trying to get me to be your friend again. So
Right.
it could
We're getting there. We're getting there with this Eagle season. We're getting
yeah,
there.
we've had a moment or two.
Yeah. And then my final take is I'm excited to tell you about my new passion in life.
Ooh. I can't wait to hear what this is. I remember in the past, this has been like you had the gardening passion for a moment.
That was never. I hate gardening.
Whatever you had, your backyard.
Well, growing my grass.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you. I knew
yeah.
it was grass. I knew there's something. Don't talk to me like I'm crazy here, okay? I remember this. Yes, your
So
grass.
my new passion in life is finding the best loaf of sourdough I can.
Oh, I could. I mean, sourdough bread is the best.
I become my new passion project is sourdough. Now I haven't like.
So is this a new thing? Did you just get introduced to because sourdough? I'm a long time.
No, I've not been just introduced to sourdough.
The best bread there is. I mean, sourdough bread is the best bread there is.
It's not like I've just. It's just
you just got into it.
I just got into like we went to this one place and they had like a fresh loaf of sourdough. I was like, let's just pick it up. I started eating it. I was like, oh, it's phenomenal. And then now I go to the other places around Westchester, and it's like that's a pretty good loaf of sourdough. How does it compare to that? And I haven't got to the point where I want to like start actually baking it because I don't know how to cook anything.
Well, it's a lot of effort. Yeah.
It seems like a lot of effort to make bread, but
you need a starter. That's all I know about bread.
I am now on the hunt. I'm on the hunt to find the best loaves of sourdough.
I'm really excited. You have to keep me updated because I
Huge
love sourdough bread.
Yeah.
So let me know what the best is, and I'll dive in.
Yeah.
Almost cursed again. So
I know.
I got excited.
You didn't see that passion coming about sourdough.
I love sourdough. I'm with you on
Yeah,
this.
I mean, you didn't curse when you were yelling at Bryce Harper for wanting money, but you did curse about sourdough.
Yeah, it's the way it works, buddy. It's the
good.
way it works.
That's good.
All right.
The new passion in life.
That's right.
Sourdough
bread. That is right on brand. That's the exact type of thing I was expecting. So
plaid shirts, fires, and sourdough bread.
It's good. You are right in a box there. I like it.
I think it's safe to say I need baseball.
I know, desperately.
Every single podcast, I feel like at the end, everyone's like, sounds like you need something.
Well, yeah, we've actually had people reach out to Jack to make sure he's not depressed at
We're good.
times this offseason.
We're good.
So it's good.
We're good.
Is he okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yes.
It's good. All right.
As long as the FanDuel counts.
Flowing.
Yeah, as long as that's going well. As long as there's NBA games on to watch. But by the way, game at 5 today. It's the middle of the show.
Oh.
It's exciting.
I'm excited for you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else?
No.
Good. This was productive, I think.
Always is.
It always is.
Now we're not going to go like 2 weeks between podcasts.
No, we'll
again,
be here
right?
next week. We're good.
Yeah. Probably talking about the same thing.
Let's be honest, though. We'll be here next week. We'll be here the week after that, and then we'll be off for Christmas and all that stuff. So you a couple in a row coming. We're there.
Were you ready to do a Jock Peterson emergency podcast last night?
I would have stayed up late.
Yeah.
Yep.
To talk about Jock Peterson.
Sure.
Our guy.
So many thoughts.
Yeah.
Like a 5-minute pod.
Yeah. Also, he spells it in a winner's way. He spells it like Doug.
I do like that it's J-O-C.
No, Pete. Like instead of
Peterson.
Peterson.
The Peterson. I also like that it's J-O-C instead of J-O-C-K.
Jock.
Jock.
Yeah, well, because I think Jock with a K is not a real name. Jock with a C is a real name.
Jock strap.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, a jock. You were a jock back in high school. Brian.
Some would argue I still am.
No one would.
No one would?
No one. You just talked about
sourdough?
wearing plaid and checking out sourdough. Your jock days are over, bud.
Dude, I can't even run anymore because of my rib injury.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that. You all right?
It's actually, we're getting past it, but I did have to run from my car into the house the other day so I didn't get a ticket. And it immediately, so just a shooting pain up my rib.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're getting there.
Good.
We're battling our way through it.
All right. This has been fun.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, shout out to do you remember the name because you gave it to me? The listener who got me the fish shirt, Philly shirt.
Yeah.
Like, I have wanted this shirt forever. I'd never buy myself things, ever. I'll be like, oh, I want that, and I just won't actually do anything to get it.
You should buy stuff.
I have wanted this shirt forever. You are my hero. Thank you so much. Seriously, like, I'm really genuinely happy to have that shirt. So thank you, whoever you are.
Ryan Lickfeld.
Ryan, thank you, dude. Seriously, like, that was freaking awesome. Someday I will get Jack to wear his. I will die trying to get Jack to wear his. I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. This has been more than enough of this. We'll be back next week.